Let it go. Let it roll right off your shoulder. Don't you know? The hardest part is over. Let it in. Let your clarity define it. It's the part that really matters in the end. Our lives are made with these small acts, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away in these small hours, these small hours. Let it slide. Let your troubles fall behind you. Let it shine till you feel it all around you and that don't mind. If it's me you need to turn to, will you find it's the heart that really matters. Our lives are lived these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away in these small hours, these small hours. Still remain all of my regret, wash away somehow. I cannot forget the way I feel right now. These small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away. These small hours, these small hours, still remain. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Bill Music, and I'm the interim CEO of Hospice East Bay. It's a pleasure to have you with us here tonight. Hospice East Bay was founded in 1977. It was the first and now the only remaining independent not-for-profit hospice serving Contra Costa County. We're committed to providing high quality, compassionate care to all those needing our services, regardless of their ability to pay. Our service area includes all of Contra Costa County and parts of Alameda and Solano counties. We provide hospice services to approximately 1,500 patients and families each year. Our community-based palliative care program adds an added layer of support for those with chronic illness earlier on in their illness trajectory. Thanks to donors like you, through events like this Tree of Light ceremony, Hospice East Bay offers a wide range of services that generally aren't available from other hospice programs. Some of these include our music therapy program, where music as a therapeutic tool reduces pain and anxiety and brings joy to patients and families. Our veteran-centered care program helps veterans and their families with their unique end-of-life needs and assists with accessing the benefits and support they've earned through their service to our country. And our grief support services are offered both in person and virtually. And we're very proud that these services are available to anyone in our community, regardless of whether their family was on service with us. Tonight, We gather to honor and remember our departed loved ones. Many of us here tonight are still grieving the loss of a friend or loved one. Over time, we learn how to be in the world without someone who was important to us. Over time, we form new habits, new connections. We learn to imagine a future where the impact of our loss is diminished, but never truly forgotten. We hope this evening allows you to connect with others, to rebuild a new set of relationships while still remembering that special person. If you have any questions about hospice in general, please look for someone with one of these tags on tonight, and feel free to ask us any questions you might have. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Brandon Iverson from the LaMorinda City Council.
I'm going to turn things over to Lafika Malkani, who's going to say a few words first.
Thank you. On behalf of the LaMorinda City Council and the community of LaMorinda, we wanted to thank Hospice East Bay from the bottom of our hearts for the really important, critical work you do. I particularly want to thank, and we want to thank all the employees for the work you do, because it's difficult, but so meaningful. I think it's important to reflect on the work you do and why it's so important. In today's world, where we spend a lot of our days increasingly in interactions filled with strife and hostility, it's important to reflect and remember that at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, what matters to us often was not whether we won that debate or outwitted an opponent, but what matters to us at the end of the day, what we remember is the compassion and the kindness and the caring and the moments of joy and laughter that we're able to spend with our loved ones. And hospice work shares that joy and laughter and kindness and caring with folks at the time of their greatest need. And that's important. And so for that, I wanted to express our appreciation, our gratitude for really doing, this is work of love. And thank you all. And as we remember those we've lost who are no longer with us on this earth, and as we spend time over the holidays with those who we are still fortunate to be able to enjoy, let's focus on creating memories that we're going to remember at the end of our days, memories of kindness and compassion and caring, and come together as a community. Thank you, Hospice of the East Bay, for helping us all come together as community for so many years. We appreciate you, and we have I can't express the gratitude that we have for the work you do. Thank you.
I am Carl Anduri, Mayor of Lafayette. Councilmember Susan Kendall is here as well. Councilmember Kendall and I want to thank you for inviting us to be part of this annual tradition. It marks the start of our holiday season, and it reminds us how much we have to be thankful for, including the family and friends we honor and remember through the lighting of this tree and the trees in Lafayette and Moraga. We are also thankful for the support that Hospice East Bay provides to members of our community. On behalf of the City of Lafayette, we thank you for all that you do and for being there when we need you. Thank you.
I walked across an empty land. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. I felt the earth beneath my feet. Sat by the river and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need something to begin. I came across a fallen tree. I felt the branches of it looking at me. Is this the place we used to love? Is this the place that I've been dreaming? Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need something to begin. And if you have a minute, why don't we go talk about it only somewhere we know? This could be the end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only we know? Somewhere only we know. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need something to begin. And if you have a minute, why don't we talk about it only somewhere we know? The end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only? Somewhere. Thank you guys.
Makes it a little simpler. Before I start reading this poem, I would like to also acknowledge some of our sponsors. Our sponsors are really important and are part of why we're able to provide all these services. So I'd like to acknowledge Rudney Associates, American Asphalt, Patricia Ellsworth. Our shining light is Mary Dermody. Our bright light donors are Catherine Corman, Joan Bruzzoni, and Bill and Trudy Oswald. And finally, it's really special thanks to the city of Orinda, the city of Lafayette, the city of Moraga, the Roundup Saloon, where our Lafayette light will be lit, Chris Waig, the Witten family, Moraga Country Club, Boy Scout Troop 237, and the National Charity League. I'm going to read a poem. It's actually not a poem. It is an excerpt from a blog. I find this really, really powerful. As someone who lost my stepfather this year, it's a poem I shared with my mom as we were navigating our grief, and I find it just very powerful. So this is a blog attributed to G. Snow titled Shipwreck. As for grief, you find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. All you can do is float. You find some piece of wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who's also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall, crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe, you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. Might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything, and the waves come crashing. But in between waves, there's life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are only 80 feet tall or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart. And you can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You can see it coming, and for the most part, prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will again come out the other side, soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you'll come out. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to, but you learn you'll survive them, and other waves will come, and you'll survive them too. I would now like to ask Marlo to come up, and we're going to start by reading the names for our Lafayette tree.
Hello, I'm Marlo Johnston. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources for Hospice East Bay. I will read the names for Lafayette. Please forgive me if I mispronounce any name. I've practiced a lot, but you know how that goes. Please do hear the names in the way that you want to hear them. Patricia Bellin, Marilyn Bly, Ron Hoverston, William B. Deeming, Dorothy Donnelly, Victor Emmerich, Janet Emmerich, Jim Fleming, Edward Mochizuki Gonzalez, Carol Grasso, Merle L. Jocelyn, James and Josephine Kilpatrick, Joan Corman, James Corman, Gregory Corman, Jim and Margaret Mitchell, Barbara Moran, John R. Moran, James M. Nissen, Eileen Nissen, Anna Hilda Ortega, Joanne A. Russo, Sue Vinson, Fred Vinson, and Bill Wheeler. I will turn it over to Motts, who will read the Moraga names.
Thank you. These are the names for Moraga. Peggy Asuncion, Jim Argery, Trudy Asphalt, Doris and Robert Ashfall, Doris Borke Stevens, Rose Bridges, Bob Bridges, Russell J. Bruzzoni, Ella Cola, Louise Cola, Dennis Cola, Beth Farrington, Bob Foskett, Brian Frudendahl, Raymond Gotcher, Charlotte Gotcher, Stephen Roy Holbrook, Albert Kaljan, Philip Kashigan, Agnes Keem, Otto Keem, Earl and Mary Litzenberger, Ed Lucas, John M. Mahoney, Fritz Mast, Robin Merritt, Joseph F. Pieri, Tom Preston, Richard Dean Reiner, Norman Roth, E. C. Sanders, Christine Sanders, Leslie Schreiner, Peter Schief, Linda Spiker, Hal Stice, Ann Stice, Bertha Stone, Edward Stone, Dick Swatland, Joan and Phil Whitehorn, Eloise and Kent Wierma, Herman J. Zindler.
I will now read the names from LaMorinda. Jean Bianchi, Muriel Bianchi, Bill and Ginny Boyd, Giannis Bruzek, China Chang, Abilio Jorge Neves da Silva, Annie and Pop Egan, Mark Ellsworth, John Gillarducci, Willard and Josephine Hinckley, J.P. Hull, John A. Hudak, Virginia Huffman, Pat and John Kennedy, John Lyon, Lee and Jean Mackler, Steve Mayer, Thomas Marson, Tom and Dottie Nason, Phil Plassier, Mary Porep, Jim Porep Jr., Frank and Gloria Riley, Wally and Ruth Riddell, Ernest H. Rule Sr., Dr. Howard Schneider, Ed Searby, Dr. Fred Strauss, Tom Thibault, Ruth and Neil Thrams, Peter Veras, Joyce Wilson, James Winkle, Charles Tip Yeager.
We're going to do one more song. We're going to just take up the tempo slightly. This is a song Bella and I have been performing for a couple of years, and we love to sing it together. Bella's my daughter, and on this day, as we remember people and family members, we lost a relative this week, And so there's a big degree of remembrance, but also cherishing the time that you have here. And one of the things that I deeply cherish is being able to play music with my daughter. And so we're going to finish with a song that's a little bit sort of upbeat, and hoping you'll enjoy it. It's called "Who Says You Can't Go Home."
I spent 20 years trying to get out of this mess. I was looking for something couldn't replace. I was running away from the only thing I'd ever known.
Like a blind dog without a bone, was a gypsy lost in the twilight zone. I hijacked a rainbow and crashed into a pot of gold. Been there, now, ain't looking back on the seeds I sowed.
Sailing down, spending too much time on the telephone. Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go home? Becoming one of their own. Just a hometown boy on a rolling stone. Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go? Been around the world, but real fact. There's only one place left on the road. Who says you can't go?
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Oh, I went as far as I could, try to find a new face. There isn't one of these lines that I would erase. Spent 1,000,000 miles, memories on that road.
Every step I take, and know that I'm not alone.
Take the home from the boy,
The boy from his home. These are my streets, the only life I know. Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go home? There's only one place they call me one of their own. Just a hometown boy on a rolling stone. Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go back? Been around the world, and as a matter of fact, it's only one place left I wanna go. Who says you can't go? Doesn't matter where you are.
it doesn't matter where you go.
If it's 1,000,000 miles away or just a mile up the road, take it in, take it with you when you go. Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go back? Been around the world, it's a matter of fact. It's only one place left I wanna go. Who says you can't go?
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Who says you can't go home?
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Oh, who says you can't go home? Thank you.
Before we light the tree, I'd like to add one more name to our Lafayette tree, Don Jacobs. And now, without further ado, and this is happening in 2 other places, but I will now present to you the LaMorinda Tree of Lights. Thank you again for attending. You may keep the candle, or if you would like to return it, we will recycle it. I also encourage you to look up onto the tree, if it's this tree or the Lafayette tree or the Moraga tree, and pick a light. Now that light is for you. And every time you come by this tree or the Lafayette tree or the Moraga tree, look at that light, and I hope it reminds you of the loved one that you miss. Again, thank you so much for coming out in today's weather. Truly appreciate it. And thank you for supporting Hospice East Bay.